Beautiful afternoon to you. Glad to have you join us on the program Flipside with yours sincerely, Oluije Oikokai. And I'm very glad to know that today you're joining us today, and definitely we'll be talking about something everyone needs to be educated on. On the 1st of July, which happens to be on a Saturday, the world internationally celebrated International Day of Cooperative with the theme Cooperative for Sustainable Development. Now, to give us more insight on all that happened that day and what Cooperative is all about, we have two special guests in our midst today. The person of Osas Ojo. He is the president, UBTH Cooperative. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here too.
And we also have another special person in our midst, the person of Mrs. Joy Obaze. She is the president of Cooperative. Nice to have you today, Ma.
Hello, viewers. Good to be here.
Okay, quickly right now, we will be diving right into what we're talking about. It has to do with cooperative in our country, Nigeria. So quickly, we would like to ask Mr. Osas. So many persons out there will be asking, what is the meaning of cooperative? What is it all about? What is the definition of cooperative? So we would like you to educate us more on the meaning of cooperative.
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers out there. Well, cooperative definition is from the word cooperation. Therefore means people coming together to cooperate to achieve a common goal or to solve peculiar problems that are bedeviling them that they want to solve. That is the common, simple definition. Mm-hmm. However, in business, cooperative is seen as an enterprise that is set up, constituted by those who want to enhance their interests economically. Yeah. And they democratically manage that business enterprise for the purpose of sharing common outcome of such business venture. Well, that is the aspect of defining cooperative business-wise. Okay. However, we also have the definition that comes from the International Cooperative Alliance, which is the international body that is saddled with the overall management and governance of the entire cooperative movement worldwide. They define cooperative as autonomous and independent persons that come together voluntarily and willingly to set up an economic enterprise with the sole aim of meeting their economic, their social, as well as their cultural needs. And at the end of the day, such enterprise, which they share in common, they also profit from the outcome of such venture. So that is the overriding International Cooperative Alliance definition. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. To Mrs. Joy Obaze, she is in the angle of agricultural cooperative. Now, if we want to get a definition on agricultural cooperative, how would you say that is?
Okay, thank you very much. Like what my Oga has said, cooperative is a kind of a cooperative is formed when voluntary persons come together, okay, you know, for certain benefits, and then cooperative is worldwide. It's everywhere. It's not just in our country alone, and we have them in different sections. You have the agricultural sector, the food, the healthcare, and then the finance part of it. But in my own cooperative, I'm into agriculture. Yeah. And there's a slogan that goes like this: no food, no farmer, no food. And we are trying to go back to our forefathers' era. If we need to move this society forward, we need to go back to agriculture. That's number one. Okay. And we are trying to bring people that are into farming, we are trying to bring them out, you know, get them into a cluster, get them registered, you know, and obtain a fund and then launch them into the business. Like me, I'm into the poultry section, I'm into livestock. And we have our own permanent sites where we are using. We are into production before marketing, but we are not into processing. We are working towards that. So agriculture is very large. If you want to start saying, you want to start defining agriculture, it's very, very large. We are trying to move the cooperative back into the agriculture.
Okay, now back to Mr. Osas. How did cooperative come about? What necessitated cooperatives?
Well, thank you so much. Cooperative became the mother of necessity. And we are glad that today we are seeing the outcome of that necessity. We're going back memory lane. I think before I go back to the pre-modern and the modern era, when cooperative started, it's good to take our mind back to the basic definition as I earlier defined cooperative in the common language of cooperation. With cooperative comes cooperation, and with cooperation there is nothing that cannot be achieved as far as you can imagine. Also, you can imagine with cooperation and cooperative it becomes achievable. We're back to the very beginning in the book of Genesis. When men came together with a mindset to achieve a purpose, they believed that on their own they cannot achieve it. And that purpose looked like a very lofty idea that was outside this world. They wanted to build a Tower of Babel. And they started building. And the Almighty God himself, he recognizes the power of synergy, of unity, of when people come together jointly, voluntarily, with that willingness that there is nothing they cannot achieve. So the Almighty himself came down and said, these people, if I don't intervene, they will achieve what they are proposed to achieve. So he came down, he intervened, and he distorted their language so that they couldn't cooperate again. So you see that cooperation has to do with willingness and ability to be united voluntarily, cooperating to achieve a goal. So the Almighty saw that with their cooperation, they would have achieved what they desired, which was in the sight of the Almighty was unethical. So that was that intervention. However, I think from that storyline, which was actually a reality, we can understand the meaning basically of cooperative.
Okay, so in essence you're saying one needs to be unified as a group in order for you to be able to achieve a goal and have a cooperative. Now if there is no unification, the end is going to be a cooperative. Okay, all right, so and also oneness. Now can an individual, take myself as an example, can I just stand up one day and say I want to start up a cooperative?
Yes.
Without having an organization, without having a name?
No, you can't, as an individual, you can't stand up to do that. You need to have, you need to gather like minds like you to do that. Maybe you want to go into fish farming, and maybe that's your feed. You are good at that feed. Just look for some people that can join you in that feed, and then before you know it, you are there. Just get your feasibility studies, create your bylaw, and then you obtain funds. Then you launch the aim of you coming together. Because like what Oga said, that unity must be there. Collaboration, oneness, unity, it has to be there for you to stand out. And then they have what they call ususu in a cooperative.
Yes, I was actually going to
that's
do
the final section. I also do that in my cooperative.
You
are looking for money, there's a way we contribute money. We give it to somebody, maybe $1 million, 500,000, it depends, and then the person goes out to do one thing on its or her own. But we must have one mindset to do that. Without that, we can't achieve anything.
Thanks for you have
just to add to what she just said. You know, you asked me about the origin, about the commencement of the cooperative. I just gave a synopsis of how it started, even at the very beginning of times. That is you're trying to elucidate more on the ideology of cooperation. Then when it now comes to meeting basic needs, felt needs.
That's the advantages.
The advantages and the purpose of it, the reason of it. The truth is this: in the basically 18th century, things were becoming tough. Not just as we are experiencing today in Nigeria. it was also very tough in Europe, to the extent that they were having difficulties meeting basic needs, food. That was why somebody like Robert Owen came up. He was a farmer. In that farming necessity of meeting the needs of the population, he came with others that, can't we cooperate and meet our basic needs? Can we cooperate? They were actually cultivating cotton. Then we were able to plant it jointly together, harvest it together, process it to finished products, add value in terms of pricing, sell it to our immediate environment. Because one of the principles of cooperative is that you must have concern for your environment. It's different from the larger business enterprise, where there's a tendency towards maximization of profit without considering your immediate environment. So you're able to put their scarce resources together. And at the end of the day, they became big and large. That they now went beyond farming to be establishing schools and every other necessities. And then when also came to the modern era, we have somebody who called them the rush day pioneer, equity pioneers. They were in England. And that's the place most of us are running down today. But they had challenges meeting their basic needs also. So they also felt that even those that were in charge of these commodities, supplies, the supply chain, they were taking advantage of them, to the extent that workers couldn't meet their basic necessities. So they also came together that we have what it takes. Can't we set up just a shop for our members, then profit from it? The profit, we share some, we reinvest some. So that's how the Rush Day pioneers, they set up a shop in England. And before you know it, their members started buying. It was not the cooperative is membership, members owned, members driven and managed, and members also benefit from it. So that is how they started benefiting. And then they were able to meet their basic needs at reasonable prices, and they expanded. In fact, it was from the Rush Day pioneer, equity pioneers, we now had the 7 principles of the cooperative movement adopted by the International Cooperative Alliance that is driving the cooperative movement today worldwide. So they started a form of people that were in need, and they felt it. So they came together as a united front, and they were able to meet it. And from there they progressed.
Now, before we delve into, some persons may feel cooperative is at the same thing, what we called Osusu earlier on. But before we get into that, by what you actually explained, in an organization, a cooperative concept, now, can someone outside the organization come into that same cooperative?
It's okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can come in. If you want to register into a cooperative, you can come in. It's allowed. It's a free word, because whatever you get from the cooperative goes back to the society.
So even if you're not part of the organization,
yes, you can come in if you like their way, if you like what they are doing. If you see husband and wife now, if they don't have cooperation, that family will not grow. There are some families now, you won't know if there's no money in that family because of unity. They are unified together. For example, you have 10 million naira in a particular family and they are not united. It will never stand. You see a lot of hardship everywhere. But if they have one voice, let me use another word for cooperative, it's one voice. One voice. If you have one voice anywhere, whatever you lay your hand, prospers. And another thing is, you can come up and say, okay, I'm hearing about this particular cooperative, I want to join them. You can go there, make your verification. If you are okay with their law, if you are okay with whatever they do there, whatever they produce, you want to join, you can, of course. Somebody can connect you to do that.
Okay, Mr. Osas.
Thank you. In addition to what Madam have just said, you know, the bylaw dictates how membership, the limitation of membership.
20.
Yes, one of the very cardinal principles of the cooperative is open and voluntary membership, just as she rightly said. But there is a certain limitation to that principle. It depends on the prevailing or operational bylaw by that society. We have society that are closed society because they have their purpose, they have their objective, and it's restricted, membership is restricted to those class of society. Then we have others, just as she rightly said, that are open in line with the principle of the cooperative movement, open and voluntary membership. Take for instance us, like UBTH Cooperative Society. By the word UBTA staff cooperative, for me that is limited to UBTA staff for obvious reasons. Understand? So outsiders cannot come and join UBTH staff cooperative because it's limited to members of the cooperative. Yes, in line with the objective clause and the bylaw. But be that as it may, UBTA staff cooperative is at the hierarchy of primary cooperative because the cooperative movement is into hierarchy. We have the primary cooperatives, the secondary cooperative, or what I call the third one is the tertiary or the central cooperative. Like a cooperative, Madame's cooperative, falls under primary, just as UBTA cooperative, UBTA staff cooperative also falls under the primary. However, we also have a united front where the primary cooperatives also come together to form what we call cooperative union. So that cooperative union, whether you are UBTA cooperative limited to UBTA staff or faculty agricultural cooperative, FACU, limited to those that are in Uniben, or just like Madame cooperative, is they now come together to form that cooperative union. So in other words, that principle is still enabled, voluntary and open membership. So UBTA cooperative is part of it, FACU is there, other cooperative they are there, and coincidentally, this union, like in Edo State, we have the Edo South Cooperative Union, uniting all the cooperative movements in Edo South together. I think I'm privileged to be the president there. Then we have the Edo Central Cooperative. They also have Edo North Cooperative Union, uniting all cooperative together. Then at the state level, we also have what we call the Edo State Cooperative Federation, where all the cooperative society, be it Edo South, Edo North, Edo Central, are parts and parcel of that body. So you can say that the cooperative is united. The membership is all encompassing, irrespective of the segregation at the lower level.
Okay. All right. Now, how can one differentiate a cooperative that is genuine and the ones that are not genuine, to Madam Joy?
It depends on what they do there, if they are in line with their bylaw. A bylaw is what puts a cooperative together. Their law, what they do and what they don't do, is written there. It's what has been agreed in the bylaw. So if you are saying a genuine one, is there any genuine cooperative? Is there anything you will see like a genuine or fake cooperative? As far as you are registered, you are in line with what the bylaw says. It's a genuine cooperative.
Okay. Now, some persons they don't understand the difference between a cooperative and the one you called Osusu. So I don't know if you can.
Cooperative
elaborate.
is still the same thing. The Osusu one, maybe there are some people they are not registered too. Maybe the market women's sector, they don't know about this cooperative. They still need someone to put them through. They are just together, maybe 10, 20 persons coming to do. It's still a gathering. It's still a unified gathering. So maybe they are not registered. That's why they are not known as a cooperative. But in my own, we do all in that my cooperative. We're into agriculture, we're into finance in my own sector. So I don't really know of Oga's sector. But the thing is still the same. It depends on what we want as a unified gathering, voluntary members coming together. It depends on what we have agreed initially before we formed it.
All right, we're talking about cooperatives, the advantages will be talked about, elaborated more when we come back. And if there are also disadvantages, yes, we know everything that has an advantage also has a disadvantage. So we will have to know today from our guests if there are disadvantages also as regards cooperative. And remember, the theme for this year is Cooperative for Sustainable Development. And we have as our guest Usas Ujo, President, UBTH Cooperative, and Joy Obaze, President, Ume Cooperative. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after the short break. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Back to Mr. Usas. For a layman watching us right now, listening to us right now, he or she wants to know what are the things I will take back home at the end of the month. What are the advantages? So in a layman term, I want you to explain to us what a cooperative, the advantage someone can actually take back home and say, okay, this is the benefit I got from being among the cooperative union.
Well, thank you so much. I think going back to the beginning of cooperative movements, I just talked about Europe. The truth is this: our father those days, they actually practiced the principle of cooperatives, cooperation among cooperatives. Say, for instance, in a clan or in a village setting, in a town, as they were doing those days, they know that, yes, material labor and every other thing tends to be scarce, so they pool their labor together. They come jointly, maybe 20 persons, 20 families. Together, they will build one house for one of them. The other one is already having an accommodation. Then they will also put resources together. They will also in turn put their labor together, and then they will bid for the next. Before you know, the town is already housing the entire 20 families that came to settle there. So that is one of the bases of the benefit of cooperative society, which our fathers practiced those days, and it benefited them enormously. They also see that there are some communities, like if I may be permitted, like those that are from Agbo. They have a way, okay, one of them wants to marry. The young ladies will come together, they will buy bike. They are used to riding these bikes. They will buy for this one of them that is ready to settle down. And then they also contribute, buy other basic things for that. And then when the other person wants to marry, they also come together jointly, voluntarily, willingly, they buy for the other person. So you see that the basic necessity that will make that young lady have a wonderful marital home has already been taken care of by this communal effort. So also in our days, you see, you are working as a salary earner, or you are working as a farmer. If you are doing it alone, it becomes so burdensome. But if you work in conjunction with others, in terms of, okay, you want to buy your seedlings, or you want to buy other things that will make your farm to be taken care of, you might not have all the resources. Then if you are a member of maybe a farmers cooperative, then they know that this is your time. Everybody gathers resources and give it to you, or what they have been contributing. Then you meet the condition to take from that pool of resources. You are able to now buy your seedlings to take care of your plantations easily, instead of you trying to do it all alone. And then you also expand on your farm. You discover that there are certain machinery that you don't need to buy on your own. It can be purchased jointly. This one use it to work on this our farm today. Then the next day, you go pay maybe a little token to also rent to take care of yours. So then instead of duplicating resources, you're able to have jointly owned assets. Then you use it to develop your farm. At the end of the day, the harvest will be far more than what somebody would have done if the person is to be on his or her own. So for workers cooperative, it's very difficult to meet payment of school fees. Then at the same time, you want to get accommodation for your family. They want to take care of the health needs. They are all demanding, and they are also necessities. But we cooperative because everybody contributes, no matter how small. And because everybody don't need those resources the same time, everybody needs it part time. So therefore means that I want to pay my child's school fee at this particular time, I can access the resources because they are pooled together. You see a situation where, okay, I have maybe, let's say, 50,000. But because I belong to the cooperative and I need particular fund at a particular time, I go to the cooperative, say, okay, you have 50,000. We can give you 100,000. We can give you 150,000 at an interest rate that is far lower than what you can obtain elsewhere.
Okay.
So you see that the advantage, they are numerous, from accommodation to meeting basic needs like food. So cooperative, they buy things in bulk, and at the end of the day, share to members at no cost immediately. Then gradually deduct it from their salary. So it's as if you are buying a bag of rice without paying cash. So you pay conveniently even when the salary have not come. Some stretch it to 3 months, even some cooperative stretch as far as 6 months. So food has been taken care of. School fees comes. You don't go cap in hand looking for where to get. You also go to your cooperative. They're able to meet that needs. The needs are very enormous and numerous.
Okay. Now, if
the advantages is more, let me add to what Oga has said.
All right.
The advantages of being a cooperative is more than the disadvantages. For me, I will pick 90% of the advantages than the disadvantages. Because like what he said, you are looking for money, you want to pay your child school fees, you just go to where your cooperative people, you just talk to them in one voice, one language, please, so I need 500K or I need 300K. Like in my own cooperative, almost everybody is a landowner. Yes, so I'm also in the finance section. Yes, I do both in the agriculture and the finance. So we are growing seriously. So what you are taking, for you to be a landowner, it's not easy. At least you are helping your husband at home to do that. And maybe the salary is not much, but you are helping one way or the other to build your home. It's still a cooperative that is leading to that advantage. So to me, I prefer the disadvantages is low, very low. Okay, it's minimal. Minimal, yes. Let me use that word.
Okay. Now, for someone out there and he or she is saying, okay, I have, let's say, 40,000 as my salary. If you want to advise that person to join a cooperative, how much will you say the person should invest into the cooperative business association?
Well, that's a very tough question because with the way the situation, the society is going now, even if you hold 1,500,000, it doesn't go, you won't. But with 40,000 naira, of course, the person will first of all register into the cooperative. But if you are going into the farming area, except they want to carry her along in some certain areas, 40,000 cannot go. That's the truth. You want to go into farming, you can't do that with 40,000. That's if you are coming in as a new person.
That's for the agricultural sector.
Yes, it will not go because if you are going into poultry, you know how much it is to buy feed. You buy feed, one bag is about 10,500, and maybe you need like 10 at that particular time. You know how much it is. So if you are coming into that livestock farming, that one will not go anywhere. You will need to buy fuel to pump your borehole, and then you know how much you are spending just to pump your borehole, water for the bed. So it's not you can't use 40,000 to do that, but you can use part of the money to get into the cooperative and then tell them, I want to join you people, I want you to fix me in this section. How do I? They will carry you along. If the cooperative, if their main aim is to give back to the society. Okay, now for Mr. Osas, yours is not agriculture. Yes, so.
Well, I think ours is classified into a workers' cooperative society and multi-purpose in nature. So you know that we can venture into a lot of things. Then back to the finance aspect. The truth is that cooperative is so encouraged. In other words, no matter the salary status, you can be a member. There are some societies like us that membership started with as low as 1,000 naira.
And that's for the working area.
It might be difficult to. It might sound wow. But 1,000 naira, maybe our share capital when we started then was 12,000 naira. Makes you a full member. But with 1,000 in 1 year, 12 months, already a full member. So that is how it started, 12,000. They now will call compulsory savings. Something you don't want to touch, want to keep, maybe we are now retiring, like a retirement saving plan. with as low as 1,000. You can also do that also. And then say, okay, let me save towards, let not be that towards the year end, I'll be looking at to take care of first mass and every other likes. They also say, okay, let me save as low as 1,000 naira. Because in that December, bag of rice will be waiting for you to buy on credit. The agricultural produce like chicken will be waiting for you also. You can also buy it on credit. So society, they do that. So you can see that with your membership of 12,000 naira, you have a whole lot waiting to take care of you at the end of the year, including your retirement. There are some members marvel that at the point of retiring, why they find it difficult to get the one that is coming from either the state, local, or federal government. They can easily go to the society to say, yes, I'll be saving over the years. Let me see the outcome of my membership. And they'll be surprised that their 1,000 naira have amounted to something significant and very reasonable. So it becomes a stopgap while waiting for, very discouraging for years for the one that will come from federal or the state or the local government. You have that with the cooperative will say, come and will give back to you because you saved what you were thinking is little, but becomes so significant at the point of retirement.
Now, for the agricultural cooperative, what are the awareness? Farmers generally aware that there are cooperatives that has to do with agricultural sector?
Yes, all farmers, they are aware. We are trying to get them into, in fact, we are trying to do that through members, through social media and all that, you know. You tell them to come, and like those people in the villages, they don't, most of them don't want to join any of this cooperative, but some of them are beginning to wake up now. They form their own group in the village. They do their own things themselves, and when they invite them here to come down for a meeting here, they come down too, you know. And then it's okay, we are doing well in that area. They are aware. Awareness is ongoing till now. It's still on.
Okay. All right.
Well, I think one of the cardinal objectives of this year's International Cooperative Celebration was to create awareness of the place and the significance of cooperative society in turning around any given locality or nation. So that was why during the International Cooperative that was held recently in the last Saturday, there was movement from Selu Market to the venue. And at the end of the day, it was creating that awareness that cooperative is everywhere. You can be part of it, irrespective of your trade or what you are doing. So that was the essence of that awareness, sensitization, because the International Cooperative Alliance so directed that there should be such movement to create awareness in order to sustain the future. Cooperative is actually the future, a veritable tool towards not only sustaining the now, but sustaining the future.
Okay, now in a group of persons now, how many can one be to say, okay, I want to start a cooperative society?
Minimum of 10, maximum of 20.
Okay.
Can start.
Okay, a cooperative. Yes. Okay.
And minimum of 10 persons.
In an organization?
Maximum, yes. Okay. Maximum of 20 persons.
Okay. Okay. Now, in starting that cooperative, can one just solely be autonomous without maybe going to other cooperative society to say, okay, how is this being done? Or is there a particular group that you must actually say, all right, if you have started a cooperative, you must be part of an association?
Let me respond to that.
Okay.
Well, just as the cooperative is an organized body, very autonomous and independent, irrespective of its area of operation.
Okay.
So therefore means that if let me be practical. ITV has a cooperative society.
Okay.
It's totally independent, autonomous, because it's registered under the relevant regulatory agency. So therefore means that any persons can come together. Once able to get that minimum 10, 15. And then if you are to maybe meet others, you are meeting them not because you need them before you become registered. You are meeting them in order to start on a better footing. You are meeting them so that you will not be testing the waters with both legs. You are meeting them to know how they started, the challenges they faced, so that you don't repeat what they already passed through.
Right.
However, society can commence a cooperative society with that numbers of persons. You have your purpose, the intention, your objective clause, and then you meet the director of cooperative in the respective state, like Edo State, and they look at your intentions and can be registered. Okay. And that's one of the advantage. You are recognized legally. The cooperative becomes a legal personality that can sue and be sued. Okay. Totally autonomous on its own. And you can really access a lot of things, facility, grant, et al. From the relevant agency, from the banks. Because within the membership, might not be able to do it all. But because you are registered, known by law, you can actually get external facilities. Okay.
So if one wants to join a cooperative, is there a particular document that when I come to your cooperative, I want to join your cooperative, and I say, sir, please, is this cooperative genuine? So if someone out there wants to join a cooperative, what are the things the person should look out for to know that this cooperative is genuine?
Well, thank you. For every registered cooperative, there is a certificate from the State Director of Cooperative Societies. All right. So that one should be one of the two to distinguish its original and the one that is fake. And then there's also a bylaw of that society, both the internal bylaw and the regulatory bylaw from the State Director of Cooperatives. And there's also a register of cooperative societies in Edo State. Okay. I think that is one of the aspects we appreciate the Ministry of Trade, Business and Cooperatives. They have been able to identify, recognize, certify, even recertified cooperative societies in Edo State, so that we're able to distinguish it from the fake. Because just as you are rightly noted, because certain advantages which ordinarily should be to those cooperative societies that are genuine. There may be, for instance, government want to give grants to cooperative societies, or maybe soft loan below 2-digit interest rate. Before you know it, you see cooperative societies springing up from there, and it has happened. They want to, the genuine one will be put aside. Why the ones we call political cooperatives that we're not having any foundation, no footing, suddenly become registered overnight, and then bounce on the largesse. And at the end of the day, they will never return the fund back to government. In fact, they are nowhere to be found because they are on paper, they are not on any location. So it's good to really separate the genuine ones from the fake ones, because they are not so they are doing what we call disservice to the cooperative movement. I think government should ensure that such are not condoned.
So apart from the working class cooperative and agriculture cooperative, what other cooperative do we have?
What other what?
Cooperative do we have? What other types of cooperatives?
Healthcare cooperative. You have that one, and then you have housing cooperative. But it depends on who or what is their aim of forming that. I'm into the agricultural sector. I'm not in the housing or the healthcare sector. Those in the healthcare sector, they also give you their own rules and regulations governing their own cooperatives.
If I'm to add to that, we have different categories of cooperatives. In fact, any business venture is associated with the cooperative movement. Just like you talked about trees, we call credit cooperatives. Theirs is just the financing aspects of cooperatives. They give out loans to their members and even to non-members, depending on their bylaws. They don't do any other thing than to give credit loans. They also have what we call multi-purpose cooperative society. They are multi-purpose in nature. They venture into businesses, they venture into diversification of activities, because that's what they are registered for in their object clause. Then we have cooperatives that are into automobile. They have cooperatives that are into, outside Nigeria, cooperatives, they run refineries. Cooperatives, they run commercial bank. In Kenya, cooperatives, they dictate the banking industries. In fact, they have what we call the cooperative bank, one of the strongest banking sector in Africa. So cooperative, they are all encompassing. As far as business is concerned, as far as venture is concerned, cooperative is fully involved.
All right, so we have been dealing and talking about cooperative. 1st of July happened to be International Day of Cooperative. Now, if cooperative is not important, I tell you, the international body will not have to set a day aside to mark the day or mark a specific thing. So on the 1st of July, the international body decided to say every 1st of July, International Cooperative Day should be celebrated and awareness should be as high as possible. And to do that with me, or that have been discussing with us, has been Mr. Osas Ojo and Mrs. Joy. We say a very big thank you to you. But before you go, we would like you to advise so many persons out there that have been listening to us to, you know, give them your advice, starting with Mrs. Joy.
Okay, get yourself registered, get yourself registered into a cooperative, a good one at that, and get yourself busy. Do something, help yourself, help your future. Cooperative is the future. Agriculture is the future. You can't do anything without going back to agriculture. So get yourself busy, get yourself registered in any of these cooperatives. You must not say, okay, I want to follow this. Just make up your mind. Tell yourself, I want to do this, and put more effort. And then you can give back to the society that we are in. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, so Mr. Osas.
Well, thank you so much. Cooperative movement have done enormously in the affairs of men. So it's not, there's no, it's a big disadvantage if those that should be parts of the cooperative movement are isolated themselves. Okay. As far as business is concerned, even the tomato sellers, the bus drivers, bike men, they can form themselves to organized body as a cooperative. And at the end of the day, just as we have been discussing, they stand to gain a lot by coming together, helping themselves in an organized manner, where they will get assistance from government, assistance from credit agencies, and also is well regulated. It's not a one-man affair. You are better organized, better placed. So it's all encompassing. Workers' cooperative, you stand that opportunity to be a landlord rather than waiting to get the retirement benefit that might not know when it will come. If we're not talking about building a shelter for yourself and for your family. So the truth is, cooperative is the key to a better future. So the earlier everybody key into it, irrespective of the nature of your business, the better you will have a brighter future.
All right, thank you so much. It has been International Day of Cooperative, and the theme Cooperative for Sustainable Development. And I have been your host, Oluije Oikokaiti. I'll be seeing you again next week for another exciting time. Yes, you'll be seeing the space again next week because Daisy Lira Sikide, you know the saying that goes, you cannot always walk and walk. You have to also have time to rest. So I'll be seeing you again next week for another exciting time on Flipside. Do have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.